Okay, we're live on YouTube and Twitch. And I'm gonna share this because, let's see, 2 views. Hey everybody, hey people joining. I'm just gonna share this on Twitter because we're not live on Periscope. So if you wanna watch this on Periscope, you can't today, where you can only watch this video on YouTube. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know what I'm doing. I hope everybody had an awesome few days. It's a Sunday. It is Palm Sunday, which is, for a lot of people, you would normally be going to church. If you're Jewish, like my family, you would be saying Chag Sameach, hey, hello. Yeah, we got someone in the comments. And you'd be celebrating Passover. So it's a very religious time for a lot of people. It's a time when normally you'd be hanging out with a ton of people, and family, community, stuff like that. But right now, a lot of people aren't. Okay. It's also, by the way, the 1-year anniversary of Pardes Live. I've been doing this for over a year. And by over, I mean April 2nd was when we started this. So, April 2nd, 2019. So now it's April 12th. So it's been over a year since I started doing these live streams. 1 second, I'm going to share a link to this YouTube clip on Twitter so people can join us. We're live. It's been 1 year. Hey everybody! All right. Okay. Hello. Hey, Roy. So, if you are like me, you get very, 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 you need to be around a lot of people. And I'm actually lucky because not even so quickly, but quickly enough, I left Washington, D.C. To go, I left DC because when I realized that the shutdowns because of COVID-19 were getting really strict and people wouldn't be able to go outside. I wouldn't even be able to go to the grocery store, which I was doing every single day. I was going out every day because I just physically couldn't be inside. You know, like in a big city like New York or Washington, D.C., people live in very closed quarters and apartments and stuff like that. So if you are not allowed to go outside, it can be very depressing. So when I realized that I would not be able to do that anymore, and it was either stay in DC and keep going out and get in trouble, or get out of the big city, get out of the crowded city, that was what I decided to do. So, a lot of people don't have that option, did not have that option. Even when I flew out of Washington, I got a lot of criticism for it. It was still considered not such a good decision. People were upset. Why are you putting other people's lives in danger by traveling? This was about 2 weeks ago, by the way. People were upset. We're basically all stuck at home because we're trying to wait for this virus thing to go away. why are you putting everybody in danger by traveling? I mean, for me, it was, even either travel now and then stop traveling, or just keep traveling every day, which is what I was doing. Hey, Joe, thank you so much. Hey, Joe, thank you so much. Thank you for your super chat. It's really, that's all. It's a great welcome back. It is, it is, it's really hard for people who had no warning that this was gonna happen. And obviously you don't have a warning when the pandemic is about to strike, but they had no warning about the shutdowns, and they're basically stuck wherever they are. And if they're stuck in a place that is either losing them a lot of money or is hurting them in other ways, they're stuck in an isolated place, that could be really, really difficult. And it gets to a point where, the president was saying, he said this repeatedly in his press briefings, and I think a lot of people agree, it gets to the point where the kind of shutdowns that we're having could cause problems even worse than the pandemic itself. And I don't want to take COVID-19 lightly in any way. I know people who have had it, and I know that it's awful, and I know that people are worried about it and worried for their lives being at stake, and I encourage everybody to stay at home and follow CDC guidelines and keep washing your hands and staying healthy and keep your immune system boosted. But I also want to talk about the people that I'm worried about the most, and that is the people who are isolated because of the shutdowns. I'm also worried about the economy. I'm worried about so many things, but I'm mostly worried about people who are basically just isolated in a tiny apartment or in a tiny room or in a place that they're not able to do other things. One of the major causes of depression and suicide tends to be work related, financial. So when there's a financial depression, not only, I feel like I'm getting kind of depressing. I don't want to be depressing, and I know it's Easter. A lot of people are celebrating Easter today, and I want to be happy. But in addition to causing a catastrophic economic crisis that is not caused directly by the virus, but is caused by all these government shutdowns, and even the post office, by the way, is running out of money. I read a headline this morning, they're going to run out of money by the end of the summer, which is crazy, which means that even if you're staying home and you're completely reliant on your deliveries to get you your meds or whatever, you might not even get that. So basically everybody's screwed. So what is everyone going to do? And this is something that to me, it seems like a solution that is worse than the problem. I'm not a doctor. I don't know, but I feel like there's something better that could be done. There's something less invasive that could be done, that is not invading on everybody's lives in this way. But ultimately, I'm worried about the mental health causes that can come from this. I know myself, I am incredibly privileged. And when I say privileged, I don't mean financially, I mean privileged socially. I'm incredibly socially privileged. I have so many people in my life that I can go to at any time, people that I can call if I'm feeling lonely, that I can go on the internet, I can go on Twitter if I have something that is on my mind and talk about it and just get like responses from people. That is privilege. And most people don't have that. But even with that, I feel so easily depressed and lonely if I don't have enough people around. If I'm feeling lonely, it's just like even with all that social privilege, it doesn't seem to be enough. And at a time like this, when I'm thinking of how much worse things could be for people who are isolated, I can't imagine what those people are going through. Like, I can't imagine what the people who don't have social privilege have to deal with when they're feeling lonely and isolated. It's really hard, because not only does depression caused by isolation hurt you right now, it stops people from being productive. It stops them, even if you are able to work remotely, and even if you are financially okay this second, it stops people from being able to like move the parts of the economy forward that they could still be moving forward right now. It stopped people from wanting to continue to survive. It's funny, it's not funny, but I was like talking to a friend the other day who was like, like different, even people who do actually need to be socially isolated because they're very old or they're immunocompromised, and they actually do need to be completely socially isolated from everybody. Those people are giving up. They're like, I just can't do it anymore. I don't care if I get compromised. I don't care if there's people in my room. I just need to see people. I don't care if you've been exposed. Just bring me a human, because we just can't we can't survive without other people around. Nobody can. And yeah. Exxon says, thanks for being with us, Paris. Thanks for calling me Paris. I kind of wish that was my name sometimes. But trust me. And thank you, Diacritical, by the way. Doug. Everybody knows at this point Diacritical is Doug. But trust me, these live streams helped me so much. You have no idea. Last year, so it's been a year since I started doing Pardes Live. And I was doing it like every night. I became single again, right? When I started doing these, around when I started doing these live streams. And it really helped me feel like I have my people, like my community that's with me no matter where I go. I would travel around the world and I would take these live streams with me. And it was such a great thing to have in my life, and made me feel so stable. And I did it every single weekday, no matter what. Even if I didn't have anything to talk about, sometimes you would see me come on and I would be sick or I would be bored or whatever, and I wouldn't have anything like major to talk about. So I would just blah, 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 blah. And I still, and my peeps were still there, which was such an amazing thing for me. And I think it also, it was something that didn't need to go away, and I stopped doing it because of this, because of depression. Like, it was when I went back to the West Coast to visit my family, it started getting in my head that, like, what am I doing? Whenever I go back to Los Angeles, I tend to lose my sense of self, and I think that everything that I've been doing until now is like stupid. And even if no one tells me that, I just go back to like the way of thinking that I had while I was living in LA, which wasn't a good way of thinking. So I was like, oh, this is stupid, everything I'm doing is stupid, what am I doing? Like, I need to stop. All the, and also I was getting a lot of criticism for the live streams. People around me who were like, you need to stop going live because somebody will be able to track your VPN and be able to know where you are and they can come and stalk you. You need to like stop doing these live streams because you're giving people too much personal information about yourself and it's putting all the people around you in danger. You need to stop doing these live, and just all these different reasons why I needed to stop doing these live streams and why it was bad. And so I stopped doing it eventually because I was in my weakest mental point when I went back to LA. And it was really, it was it was really eye-opening. I realized that I really missed these live streams. And my therapist actually even thought that I should go back to doing them because she saw that I built some, like, a piece of myself with these streams. And that was just, like, a community. And no matter how much you try to kid yourself, we all do it, we all go through a period in our lives when we think that it's good to be alone for some time. It's good to, and it is helpful to like know yourself, but you don't have to be alone. You don't have to go through your entire life not communicating with people, not having, it's fine to be an influencer who has, or it's fine to be somebody on Twitter or YouTube who just is always interacting with people because that's how we're built. And like, if you can, then why not? Like, it's like eating food. Some people eat more food than other people. Some people eat, you know, like, social interaction is necessary. It's a thing that people need, like, to survive. It's not like, oh, you have this crazy weird addiction to communicating with people. No, like, it's a thing that people need. Some people need it more than others. Some people get depressed more easily than others. That's me. I get depressed more easily than other people if I don't have that constant communication. And you can look at suicide rates across the country. It's weird because you would think that the rate of suicide would be higher in places like Washington, D.C. or New York City, where there are more people with mental problems. Like, I mean, D.C. is the mental illness capital of the country. Like, Washington, D.C. has the most mentally ill people in the entire country, and as someone who's lived there for the past 4 years, I can vouch for that. Plenty of mentally ill people who live in D.C. But still, Washington, D.C. is not the suicide capital of the U.S. Maybe the mentally ill capital, but not the suicide capital. People kill themselves in isolation. That's what happens. People don't kill themselves when they're around other people. This is a fact. Studies show this. The numbers show this. Have an itch. If you look at the, I think in DC, per 100,000 people, it's like the number of I think it's like 6 people per 100,000 people in DC are likely to commit suicide, and in Wyoming it's like, in Wyoming it's maybe like 5 or 6 times that. In North Dakota, the number is really high. It's true that there are good things that are coming out of this, like really great things. I'm just 1 second. Exxon says this feels like a modern day Passover, but more mysterious and evil. It's actually really true. Like, I was thinking about it because I mean, I celebrate Passover when I'm with my family, and it really feels like this. It really like feels like Passover. Like, really feels like Passover. What was I saying? Hey, Marshall. My friend Marshall's watching. Hey, Marshall. I'm so glad you're on. This is so cool. Marshall's asking where I am these days. These days I was in the process of getting more settled in DC, but you know, not there anymore. But these days I'm basically in the same place as everybody else, which is in their home, not leaving for weeks at this point. Yeah. Jim says the air is actually clearing up in LA without the traffic. Yeah, I kind of wish it would stay like this in LA, because I grew up in LA and there's so many things I love about the West Coast, but the one thing that makes me not love it at all and not want to stay is the crazy traffic. It's not fun at all. And the crazy traffic, the high cost of living, it's just everything is too expensive, too crowded. Like, you don't need that many people around. And Jim says, did everybody give a like? Everybody listen to Jim and give a like to this video. So, there are some good things, I think, that are coming out of this. It is good that, it's good that people are, like, home, because there seems to be more of a focus on, like, meaningful relationships. People are valuing the nuclear family more. They're valuing having one friend that you're with all the time instead of a million people that you're hanging out with all the time. Which quarantine will do that to people, because you're with one person or two people or a few people instead of a million people. So you're having fewer interactions, like, you're interacting with fewer people, but you're just with them for more time. I think that's a very healthy thing, because another thing that makes it really hard to feel, another thing that isolates people a lot is, like, not having enough meaningful interactions with people. So, like, in DC, for instance, and also in my age group, people don't tend to be as stable, and they don't tend to, like, stick around as much. So I think that this might help kind of push people to go in that direction more. Like, being in long-term relationships and marriages versus, like, versus hooking up. Having 2 or 3 friends that you're with all the time instead of parties constantly. So that's a good thing. And those things actually do make you feel less lonely. But still, no matter what, it's always good to be around more people than less people. Even if you're not friends with all those people. Like, even if you can just go outside and there's just other people around. Like, even if you go to Starbucks, I mean, one thing that I would do to stop, one thing that I do frequently when I live alone is I go to Starbucks all the time. I would go, like, every day, or any sort of coffee shop or any place that has other people in it, just so I'm not so I'm not by myself all day. Doug says I need to learn to value alone time. And definitely take advantage. Like, Doug is also very social, I can tell. Like, there's so many great things about alone time is important, and there's so much that you could do, but yeah, like for some people it's just so hard to be like forced to be alone all the time. Yeah. So I can do alone time more when I have this. When I have my live streams, it's easier for me to be alone and like live alone and spend more time alone. When I don't have, so I feel like I've kind of found a way to cope with being alone through these live streams, but because I haven't done these live streams like every night for a while, I kind of went back on it, but I'm thinking of just doing this every night. I started following this journalist. His name is like Julio something. He's a Mexican journalist. I don't understand a lot of what he's saying because it's in Spanish and he talks fast. I'm not like a fluent Spanish speaker, but I really like, and he talks about different topics every day. It's just some other topic, and sometimes he does it multiple times a day. He'll just keep going live, and it's so much fun to watch because there's something about live streams that are different than watching a video. Like you could sit and watch videos all day, but they're not going to make you feel less lonely. But watching live streams, like other people are live at the same time as you. So it really actually does feel like you're interacting. I see your comment, I see Paul, I see Groundhog, I see Joe. Like, I see your comment, and it feels like I have people with me, and I don't need you to be like physically here. I don't need to like physically touch you to know that you're with me. You know, like you don't have to be in the same room as me physically. But if I'm watching a video that could have been made 10 years ago, like, what's that gonna do for me? If it was made 10 years ago, oh, I could read the comments and pretend like they're directed at me? No. Like, pretend like the comments were made. So sorry, I'm not being so clear. Logo says do what? I'm thinking of just doing these live streams more, like every night. Like I did last year. So, because I need it. And actually, like, I'm not in such a bad place right now because I do have people around, but still, like, those people are not the kind of people that I'm with normally every day. I see you, Sage. I see you. I see Rosemary. Rosemary is an extrovert like me. Rosemary needs to be around a lot of people. I still haven't visited Rosemary in Tennessee, even though I said I would. And I planned to, but like it just nothing ever happened. Things do happen. I planned a trip to Peru for years, and I kept saying like I'm going to go to Peru. And I didn't think that I would ever it just didn't seem like it would ever happen. Because like why would I go to Peru even though I keep talking about it? I didn't buy a ticket. I didn't make plans. But the second I had an opportunity to go to Peru for a class, I took it. So that's why I know that I'm going to end up in Tennessee, because I keep talking about how I'm going to go to visit in Tennessee. And a few cities that I want to visit. I really want to visit Nashville. That's like the number one top. And like I keep talking about it, so I know it's gonna happen, because even if though I still haven't bought a ticket, because it's on my mind so much, the first opportunity I get, like the first thing that comes up, someone says, hey, why don't you come with me to this conference in Nashville? Like, I'll want to go with them. Exxon says, have you thought about doing pole dancing at home? In fact, my pole dancing classes are online now, so I can do it online. It's so different though. Like, it's really hard. I'm really bad at it, and I still haven't gotten like basic moves down, and the classes are much fewer. And also, I would need to get a pole. I'm still trying to decide if I should get a pole to come to my parents' house. Like, I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't even know if I'm gonna stay there for too long. Like it just, everything is in the air. But yeah, I could still do the classes at home. I could do the parts that don't need a pole. I know you're joking. I know you're joking about me doing pole dancing at home, but I'm not joking. It's actually a great workout. I recommend it for anybody else who has knee problems. I used to have knee problems. They're coming back a little bit because I haven't been so active, but it really helps with exercises that are involved with pole dancing. So like, yeah, I'm serious. Doug, yes, that guy, yes. Julio Astiero. He's pretty good, isn't he? And I don't even understand him so well, but he's like fun to watch. Like, you know, I've been listening to him while I do other things also. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to say, guys. Doug has a joke he wants to share. Yeah, I just hope this thing gets back, because like I just hope it will be soon. I don't think it will be soon. Like, I don't think the shutdowns will end soon. I think that, I think people will probably riot. I think people will probably riot. Ouch. It's really uncomfortable. I think people will probably rebel and will, I don't think people are gonna like sit around and let this happen for longer, because how many people, let's see how many people have coronavirus. How many people have corona? Let's see. Oh, wow. The US is doing really well. The US is doing really well. Over 550,000 people in the US have tested positive for coronavirus. That's not why we're doing well. We're doing well because $21,731 people died from it, which is a lot of people, and it's very unfortunate and very tragic, but it is much lower than, it's a much lower death rate than other countries. It really is. Like, also, I can't believe China still hasn't updated their numbers. China's numbers, 82,000 people have coronavirus. That's total BS. 82,000 in China while the US has over 550,000. That's total BS. There's no way. And in China, everybody gets tested. Like, there's no way that they have that little. Like, China needs to be like dealt with in some way. It's not cool the way that they have manipulated their numbers that are affecting the numbers, the worldwide numbers, and the way that they're like trying to pin it on the US now because they're gaslighting, because they know that Marshall says don't send the poll to your parents' house. Eric says the death count is actually less than that. Many deaths are attributed to COVID without a positive test. Oh, interesting. Oh, wow. Okay, that's really interesting. So 21,731 people in the U.S. died from COVID. Over 41,000 people died from suicide in 2018. It just hurt my makeup. Okay, how many? Let me just double check so I'm not saying the wrong numbers. Let's see. The number of suicide. How many people suicide in the US? Oh wow, it's even more. Over 48,000 people in 2018 killed themselves in 2018. And that was not with a pandemic or anything. That was, I mean, our economy was doing fine. Everything was fine. Over 48,000 people killed themselves. And that wasn't even like a big jump from the year before. That was just the way our trends were going. That's just the way we normally are. I mean, dude, can you imagine? I mean, I hope nobody gets more depressed from this pandemic. But also the reality is that my hope is not true. The reality is that people are getting depressed, like no matter how much I hope for them not to. And like I just really don't see any good outcome from keeping people cooped up any longer without some plan to get people out of their houses. Maybe like an immunity test. Like just like go to entire cities, like go through entire cities in the US and give them immunity tests so people can go back to work. Maybe just allow the people who have the antibodies to go back to work so they can hold fort for everybody else, until everybody else gets rid of the wave. Let's see. Nate says that when his mom went to Elmhurst Hospital on the 25th, 13 people had died in the hospital that day. That's scary. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh wow, Groundhog says we actually had less deaths in March 20th than in March 2020 than March 2019 because fewer accidents because people are social distancing. Wow, interesting. Fewer accidents, murders. Yeah, fewer people are going out and killing each other. So that's good. Well, hopefully they don't do anything to themselves. Nate says in New York City alone, over 800 people died in a day over the virus. Oh my gosh, that's awful. Chris says, my sister is a nurse. She says that her emergency room has much lower volumes before fewer accidents, and people who never needed to go in the first place have stopped going. Good. That's good to hear. Doug says they pulled a dead body out of the building next door, starting to find people dead alone. 250 a day last week. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry to hear that. That is awful. Those are the people I'm worried about. The people who are dying alone. Those are the people I'm worried about. people who are completely by themselves without support mentally, like without emotional support. Like, those are the people I'm worried most about. Hamid says, hey Hamid. Hamid says, this is a good time for you to get into video games. Animal Crossing is a perfect treatment to get against depression. Should I? Animal Crossing. I need to figure out a way. I need to figure out a way to do video, like play video games live on this thing, like on YouTube. Or maybe I'll only do it on Twitch. Maybe I'll figure out how to do it only on Twitch. But yeah, I don't know how to do it yet. Doug says, I've been playing City Skylines. Jim says, what about the homeless populations? Yeah, there's definitely, I know that there's a big problem here. In the West Coast, there's a big problem with the homeless. It's the way that it's set up in California is because legislators in California are very pro like urban living, so they would rather have like more people live in the big cities than for people to be spread out, because most of the politicians here are Democrats, so they believe that if people are more spread out, it will like ruin the environment. It will like ruin wildlife and whatever, so they want to keep more people in the bigger cities. That's like their philosophy. That's the way they like to do things. And the problem with too many people being in the big cities in a pandemic like this is that all these like homeless people you're seeing, they all like live like under the bridge. They're all like very close together under bridges, under like, you know, in areas that are like very like crammed. They're all like living in communities very close together. It's really hard for them to socially distance because they're all in big cities together. So yeah, and in general, that's a problem with urban living, is all the places that are the most crammed and dense are getting screwed over the most by this virus. So and that's the same thing with the homeless population. They're all like, you know, together. They don't have an ability to socially distance themselves and go and live out in the wilderness because they live in the city. Right. My friend just messaged me, are you serious about video games? I'm very serious about video games. I'm very serious. The only reason I haven't done these video games until now is because I don't know how. I really like. Also, I just want to note how dumb I am about anything technology related. Yeah, like all the stuff I'm doing is through technology, and I'm doing these live streams and all that stuff. I really didn't know any of it a year ago. When I started, I knew nothing about live streaming. I was doing these, by the way, only on YouTube, and I didn't know how to go live in YouTube. It took me so long to figure out, and the people, those of you who were there from the beginning, you might remember how many times, like how many problems I had, like technical issues. I was always having technical issues. I was always like going, yeah. It was, I'm still learning things, but yeah, I really didn't know what I was doing. Hamid says, I need an Elgato Video Capture HD 60 device. Nate says, okay. Oh, I should, okay, that's a good idea. Maybe I can convince my siblings to do it with me. My siblings don't want to be on camera or anything private. Like, my family's very not, they're very not political. They're very not, like, into anything that's publicity related. They kind of like, you know, they appreciate privacy and, you know, living your life and doing your own thing, which I really respect. I just also secretly want one of them to join me in these things. So, Nate, I just remember, Nate is saying a story about their 6 siblings had to say goodbye to their dying mother over walkie-talkie that's awful. I'm so sorry to hear that. That is really awful. And which is why I'm happy that people are taking the social distancing seriously. I just wish there was a way to not hurt other people while doing it. Steven says, how do you keep your teeth so white? Jeez. I brush my teeth a lot. I have a tea brushing like obsession. I'm always brushing my teeth. Sean says, YouTube never notifies me of your live streams. Thanks, YouTube. Okay, I think there's a way to get notified. If I go live, I think there is an option to turn on notifications. Turn on notifications. I think you can on YouTube. Go ahead and do it. Turn on your notifications. But yeah, I don't know why. I get notified when people that I follow are live. So I don't know why it's not working for you guys. Do you like it better if I have, like, is it nicer if I have these backgrounds? Like, check out this background. Is it nicer if I have this? Like, maybe I should have these for my different live streams. Yeah? Yes? No? Exxon, thank you for that. Doug says people are dying in crowded hospital rooms. It's sad and hardened healthcare workers. I'm reading your comments. Nate says Pardes should do a live stream with Lila. She's the closest thing to a family who would agree to be filmed. Yeah, I should do a live stream with Lila. I should find out where Lila is. Thanks for reminding me. I'm gonna text her, see where she is. Alright. Aaron says, have you heard of 5G? Yes, I heard of 5G. I heard 5G is, I'm using 5G. I heard 5G is like, I heard 5G is not real. Like, my friend told me it's the same as 4G. All right. It looks like virus. It looks like viruses. It looks like little viruses. Okay, we'll do another another one next time. Okay. Well, thank you for joining, everybody. I'm really happy you got to join me today. And I'm really happy that I had the opportunity to do this. I hope that other people are finding ways of coping. If this is your way of coping, let me know in the comments. If this is helping you the same way that it's helping me, let me know in the comments. And also, like, let me know things that you want to hear more about. Because otherwise I'm just gonna ramble about the things that I'm thinking about that day. But yeah, also if anyone has like game suggestions, send them over. I'll see you tomorrow. Nate, I'll see you tomorrow. I love you peeps so much. Sage says I love you so much, no homo. I love you too. And yeah, alright, be safe, be happy, stay healthy. If you need more live time, I would recommend that you go live and you can tag me so that I can retweet you. I probably won't retweet you if it's anything like inappropriate, like if you are about to like make a porno, I'm not gonna retweet you. But if it's just like a normal live stream that you want to go live on, you know, just tag me, say, you know, quarantine live stream, hashtag quarantine live stream, something like that. And you can, yeah, so yeah. All right, and maybe I'll tell you guys how I do these also. And it's not that hard. It's very simple. I made a video about it kind of a while back, so maybe I'll just, if you have any questions. Okay, see you later. Like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe to my channel.